My name is Elara Finch. I'm 26, and my parents have always treated me like the answer to a question they never asked. Youngest daughter, invisible placeholder, the one you leave off the legal documents unless you need a signature. Growing up in the Finch household taught me one thing. Silence is cheaper than truth. They built a family on performance. Sunday church smiles, cookouts with neighbors they hated. Everything's fine, Odessa would say while slicing lies into Sunday roast. But that night on I-75, that's when it shattered. It started with Solomon coughing in the back seat. Subtle, sharp, the kind of cough you feel more than hear. My grandfather hated showing weakness, but he tapped the window and said, "I need to stretch. Just a few minutes, darlin'." I offered to go inside and get him a bottle of water. Dawson parked near the gas station's rusted edge, under a flickering street lamp that buzzed like a dying fly. The air was heavy with Georgia heat, thick like lies before a storm. Solomon shuffled toward a bench. Odessa pulled her scarf tighter around her neck, like she didn't want to breathe the same air as us. I stepped inside the station. Fluorescence. Coffee staler than the floor mat. No cashier. Just a bell that didn't ring. 37 seconds. That's how long I was gone. I counted later. When I came back out, the SUV was gone. Tires left damp trails. My grandfather was still sitting there hunched. Confused. His hand was shaking as he tried to pull his pill bottle from his coat pocket. Empty. I looked down. His phone, cracked, split down the screen under the bench leg. The bottle cap to his medication rolled once, stopped by the curb. They'd left him. No mistake. No panic. This was planned. I dropped the water, ran into the parking lot. Dad. Mom. I screamed into silence. A semi-truck roared past, indifferent. Solomon's lips were pale. I grabbed him. "Where are your meds?" He blinked. "Your mother said we didn't need them, that we were just stopping to switch cars." "What?" He tried to stand, but stumbled. His body slumped against mine. They said I was making it harder. That maybe. This was better. Inside the station, I found no staff. No emergency phone. The camera above the doorway was dark. A red light blinked once, then died. Power cut? Or disabled? I dragged Solomon back into the booth outside. Rain started. Soft at first. Then hard. "They were supposed to love you," I whispered. "They were supposed to love you." He clutched his chest hard, like trying to hold his heart in place. They said, I should rest now. Rest. That word scraped my skull. I dialed 911. Gas station off I-75, mile marker 213. Elderly man. Heart condition. No meds. Possible abandonment. My voice cracked. The dispatcher paused. "You said abandonment." I said what I meant. After I hung up, I looked around. A car pulled in. Silver Toyota, tinted windows. It didn't stop near us. Didn't refuel. Just sat there. Headlights off. I stood. The Toyota reversed slowly, then pulled away. No plates. No brake lights. Solomon mumbled. "They planned it, Elara. Then he went limp. Not dead. Just done. At the hospital, they said his heart could have stopped if I'd been 60 seconds later. His oxygen dropped fast. They asked if I had power of attorney. I said no. I wasn't on anything. But they let me stay. I wiped blood from his lips. I watched machines do the breathing. In the waiting room, I texted Odessa, "Where the hell are you?" No response. I called Dawson. Straight to voicemail. I stared at the hallway. Cold. Bright. Empty. You can live in a family and still not know what they're capable of. You can think betrayal comes with shouting, slamming doors. But sometimes it's just a car driving away. And the sound of your grandfather's breath slowing down behind you. They left him to die, and they left me to watch. The ER light above Solomon's door blinked red for 23 minutes. Not on. Not off. Just pulsing. like it couldn't decide whether he was dead yet. I sat in a cracked chair with dried gum under the armrest and a clipboard of papers I wasn't allowed to sign. Are you his primary caregiver? No. Power of attorney? No. Are you immediate next of kin? Yes. Then why don't we have your name on file? Why didn't they? The nurse walked away before I could answer. That's the thing with people like my parents. They erase you in inches. First from the photos, then from the dinner plans, then from the documents that matter. Solomon survived. Barely. They got his heart rate stabilized, pumped meds into him like he was a leaking tire. When I asked how long he'd been off his medication, the doctor answered without looking up. Over 36 hours. He didn't have a single active dose in his bloodstream. That's not forgetfulness. That's design. I went back to the house the next morning. Quiet street. Gated driveway. Motion lights that didn't blink. Not for me anyway. The key still worked. Inside, the air was cold. Not thermostat cold. Memory cold. Like a place where warmth had been exiled. They left fast. That much was clear. No dishes in the sink. A jacket still draped over the sofa. One coffee cup, half full, with lipstick that wasn't Odessa's shade. I moved through the kitchen like a ghost hunting its own murder. The drawer with the house documents, empty. The cabinet where Solomon's meds used to be, gone. But there was a smell. Old wood, cinnamon, bleach. Like they tried to erase the past, but couldn't scrub hard enough. Upstairs, my bedroom door was locked. With a new padlock. They locked me out of my own room. Or tried to. I took the screwdriver from the bathroom cabinet and popped the hinges. What were they hiding? Nothing. Literally nothing. The room was empty. Every drawer cleared. Mattress gone. Carpet slashed in one corner. Like someone thought something was hidden beneath. The closet light was ripped out. All that remained was a single photo of me and Solomon, crumpled in the corner, like it had been stepped on, then changed its mind about being trash. Back downstairs, I opened Odessa's laptop. Password still the same. Perfect Mom 3. Emails. Dozens of them. Between her and a man named Bram Cosley. Realtor. I clicked. Preliminary draft for POA transfer. Still no Elara signature. Can you obtain? My throat went dry. Next email. Suggested language for revocation of shared ownership. File attached. Requires notarization. They were trying to erase me from the deed. I wasn't just excluded. I was being deleted. I screen captured everything. Sent the files to my old roommate Marisol, cybersecurity minor, now a full-stack developer for a law firm in Atlanta. Her text came in minutes later. This isn't sloppy. This is surgical. The footage from the home security system? Gone. Backup drive in the safe? Wiped. But I remembered something. A year ago, during a roofing leak, Dawson had installed a hidden backup router with a cloud sync. I crawled into the attic and found the panel. Green light. Still live. I logged in. Downloaded everything. 2 nights ago. 11:13 p.m. Dawson unplugged Solomon's medicine fridge. Walked out holding the bag. 11:22 p.m. Odessa went into Solomon's room. Took the pill organizer. Dumped it into the sink, rinsed. 11:25 p.m. Both walked out the front door. Car, trunk loaded. Solomon in the back seat. I stopped breathing. There's no metaphor for that. There's just the truth, clear and brutal. My phone vibrated. Unknown number. No caller ID. I answered. A voice, filtered male, said one word. Stop. Then silence. I ran outside. Nothing but wind. Then a car pulled past. Same silver Toyota. Same tinted windows. No plate. This wasn't just betrayal. This was a war. And I'd been drafted while sleeping. I opened the mailbox. Inside, a plain envelope. No name. No return address. I ripped it open. Inside, a printed document. Quitclaim deed. Transferring the house to Odessa and Dawson Finch. Signature, Elara Finch. Forged. Perfectly. If the house is mine, then the game just changed. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the cold kitchen floor of a house I technically owned, holding a forged deed with my name on it. The signature was flawless. Even the slant of the L in Elara matched mine. Only I didn't sign it. People think betrayal comes with screaming, slamming doors, affairs, fistfights. But sometimes it's just a quiet form filed in silence while you're making tea in another room. Marisol arrived at 6:03 a.m. Hoodie, no makeup, laptop under her arm. She didn't ask if I was okay. Just said, let's burn the bastards. We spread out across the kitchen counter. Marisol decrypted the metadata on the fake deed. Timestamped. 3 days ago. IP address traced back to my mother's MacBook. I stared at the screen. They didn't just cut me out, I whispered. They rehearsed it. She nodded. This was preloaded, waiting for the moment you wouldn't notice. Outside, a delivery truck passed. I flinched. Not from sound, from instinct. Someone was watching. I couldn't prove it, but I felt it. Marisol pulled up the deed registry site. Here's the good news. The house is still in your name. They filed the transfer, but it's pending validation. Needs in-person sign-off or a notary on record. I blinked. So they haven't won yet. Not legally. Not if you move fast. Cut to Fulton County Deeds Office. Mid-morning. Fluorescent hell. Line snaking down the hallway. We stepped inside. I handed over my ID. Clerk squinted at her screen, then frowned. You already submitted transfer documents, she said. You're here to verify them. I froze. Marisol spoke first. Actually, she's here to revoke them. Clerk raised a brow. That's irregular. You'll need to file a fraud affidavit and request a freeze. Then give me the form, I said. Cut scene. Parking garage. Dim light. Silence. I saw him leaning against the concrete pillar before he saw me. Dawson. Tan coat. Black gloves. The kind he used for yard work and secrets. Do you think this will change anything? He asked. I think it already has. He smiled. Not amused. Not angry. Just amused by how little he thought I mattered. You don't understand the game, Elara. You never did. I stepped forward. Maybe not, but I just learned the rules. And now I'm playing too. He moved in close. Too close. Smelled like gasoline and mint. You never belonged in this family. You were charity. A replacement. Not a daughter. I didn't blink. People like you think truth wins, he said. But money signs the deeds. I raised my phone. It was recording. His eyes flicked down. Then he laughed. You think that'll scare me? No, I said, but it'll bury you. Cut to Marisol and I at a diner. Cheap coffee. Grease in the air. She opened her laptop. I pulled emails from Odessa's drive. Guess who else they're selling your house to? Who? Bram Coasley. Name ring a bell. My heart dropped. Bram was my mom's church friend. Real estate fixer. Once offered to help me flip it when I inherited. I told him no. He smiled too much. Let's find him, I said. Cut to Bram's office. Strip mall. No sign on the door. Just by appointment, only card stuck in the glass. We walked in. Bram looked up. Nervous. Elara. Wow. Wasn't expecting you. Clearly. I'm just helping your parents. Forge my signature. His jaw tightened. I didn't know it wasn't you. I was told you were unavailable. What does that mean? He hesitated. They said you were under mental distress, possibly institutionalized. I stared. You're saying my parents told you I was unstable? He nodded slowly. I didn't check. I just filed what they gave me. Marisol snapped a picture of his files. You're going to email every single document to my lawyer, she said, and then you're going to disappear. He didn't argue. Cut to Marisol and I in the car, silence between us. Then her voice. You know what they say? The most dangerous people are the ones who believe they're doing what's best for you. I looked out the window. You tried to steal my home, I whispered. Now you'll have to bury me to get it. The storm hit just as I reached the house. Sheets of rain slapped the windows like they were trying to warn me away. Thunder rolled over the roof in long, violent waves. The Finch house always looked imposing, but that night it looked hungry. I slipped the spare key into the lock. Gloved hands, hood up, breath thin. Inside, the air tasted like bleach and old secrets. No lights, no footsteps, just the quiet kind of silence, the kind that knows your name. I moved fast, the kitchen first, the same spotless counters, the same curated perfection, except the fruit bowl was gone. A tiny thing, but wrong. A missing detail in a stage scene always reveals the lie. Marisol's voice echoed in my mind. People erase in patterns. Watch the patterns. Cut scene. Living room. Drapes half open, like someone left in a rush. A glass on the coffee table, water still beating the rim. The remote on the floor. A chair pushed back too far. Someone was interrupted. Another cut. Solomon's room. I pushed the door with my elbow. It creaked like something dying. His bed frame was stripped. Mattress gone. Dressers shoved aside. I crouched. The carpet fibers were crushed into the grain of the wood, as if someone knelt there, searching. Or hiding. Lightning cracked. The room lit in stark blue. That's when I saw the uneven plank beneath the window. A floorboard. Loose. My heart climbed into my throat. I wedged my fingers under it and pulled. Wood splintered against my gloves. Dust exploded upward. Beneath it, a metal box. Heavy. Cold. Wrong. I dragged it out, breath shaking. The latch resisted, then gave. Inside, cash bundles. A burner phone. Photocopies of deeds, not just mine. Property transfers for relatives I barely remembered. Several names crossed out with thick red ink. A file stamped. Care transfers, finalized. My parents weren't new to this. They had done it before. My stomach turned. Solomon wasn't the first target. He was just the last one who still trusted them. I flipped open another folder. Photos of elderly cousins, great aunts. Notes in the margins. Early memory decline, isolated, assets unprotected. I felt sick. A voice inside me whispered, "This is who raised you." Then I heard it. A soft thud. Upstairs. Not thunder. Footsteps. I snapped the box shut, killing the sound. Stood frozen in the dark. Every hair on my arms rose. Someone else was in the house. Cut scene. Hallway. Pitch black. Only my pulse in my ears. I moved silently. Down the back steps, my phone clenched in my fist like a weapon. A shadow crossed the upstairs landing. Slow. Deliberate. Watching. I bolted. Through the kitchen. Through the mudroom. Out the back door into the rain. I didn't look back. Not until I reached the tree line. When I finally turned, a figure stood framed in the doorway. A silhouette. Still. Like it had been waiting. Lightning flashed, and it was gone. I didn't breathe until I dove into Marisol's car. She floored it before the door even shut. "You find something?" she asked. I nodded. "Yeah, a lot." Cut scene. Her apartment. Laptop open. Files spread across the table. My gloves still dripping onto the hardwood floor. Marisol cracked the burner phone first. "Oh, Elara, you're not going to like this." Recordings. Dozens of them. Odessa's voice, calm, clipped. "We need the property secure. If Solomon passes, we cannot risk Elara claiming anything." Dawson replying, "She's never fought us before." She won't start now. The confidence in his voice made something inside me snap. I scrolled further. Texts. Coastly, final draft ready. Need your daughter's signature ASAP. Odessa. She won't be a problem. She still wants to be loved. My vision blurred with heat. Then Marisol found it, the last recording. Odessa again. Once the deeds transferred, we move him to the second property. The medication issue. Well, accidents happen. Accidents. I gripped the table to steady myself. They were going to let him die. Yeah, Marisol whispered. And then they were going to take everything. Another file opened. An email thread. Dawson wrote, "Confirm sale of primary residence before the girl notices." Before the girl. Not daughter. Not Elara. Girl. I felt hollow. Heavy. Urgent. Rain hammered the windows. A siren wailed somewhere distant. The storm felt closer now. Like it followed me here. Marisol grabbed my arm. "Elara, you need to do something with this evidence. Take it to someone. A lawyer. The state. Someone who knows how deep this is." "I will," I said. "But not yet." She frowned. "Why not yet?" I stood, picked up the metal box, felt its weight, felt my anger sharpen into something usable. "Because first," I said, "I'm going to take the one thing they value more than anything." "What?" I met her eyes. "The house." The room went silent. She exhaled. "You're not serious." "I'm very serious." "You can't. Not legally. Not safely." I smiled, humorless. Sharp. New. They built a life on stolen property. It's poetic, I returned the favor. And in that moment, with stormlight flickering across the soaked evidence on the table, I understood something essential. I wasn't the quiet Finch anymore. I wasn't the forgotten daughter. I wasn't the placeholder. I was the threat they never saw coming. They wanted the house. Now they'll have to bury me to get it. Rain pounded the windshield as we coasted into the empty lot behind the old DMV building. The sky was black overhead. Only the yellow sodium lights hummed in time. Marisol didn't speak. She slid the burner phone, recording from her jacket, to the seat. I kept my eyes on the rearview mirror. A silver sedan glided into the parking strips beside us. Tinted windows. No plates. I locked my doors without thinking. "Ready?" Marisol asked, voice low. My right hand tightened around the phone. "Ready." We walked toward the glass entrance under flickering lights. The sign said Fulton County Recorder, Public Records Office. Inside, the scent of stale carpet and fluorescent bleach welcomed us. I showed my ID to the clerk. She flipped through the file, snapped her lips like she bit down on each word. "Ms. Finch, there's already been a transfer request submitted for this property. Code 7A, pending notarization." She tapped her screen. "Someone filed yesterday. Looks clean." I froze. Clean. I swallowed against it. Then Marisol stepped forward. "You'll need to see these." She laid the forged deed, plus metadata printouts, plus the burner phone audio on the counter, inch by inch. Clerk's eyes flared. She exhaled. "You want to file a fraud affidavit?" "Yes," I said, "and freeze all records immediately." Her fingers flew. She scanned forms, stamped. Her hands shook a fraction. The weight in my chest loosened just a little. Not safe, but lighter. We walked back to the car. I closed the door. The silver sedan was gone. Cut. Night. Mud. Wind curling through empty streets. We parked at a diner under a blinking neon sign. Cheap coffee, cheap eggs. Better than nothing. Marisol's laptop booted up fast. "Now," she said. "We press." She opened a secure folder. Floodlight. Inside, contact info for 3 local news producers. Names I had saved weeks ago. A draft letter. A timeline of evidence. Photos of the metal box. Screenshots of the emails. Audio files. We go live in 30 minutes, she said. Once this goes public, they lose what they care about most, their silence. I tapped the table. The cup rattled. I thought about Solomon in that empty SUV. His shaking hand. His heart slowing into nothing. I thought about the first time they told us the house was family. A gift. I thought about the times they hid the threats behind church dinners and sweet smiles. Some people think family is blood. Others know it's a contract. And when they break their side, you rewrite the agreement. Marisol hit send. The message exploded onto city servers, local feeds, and then statewide networks. A splash page loaded. Daughter accuses parents of elder abuse and real estate fraud. Evidence inside. We did a countdown. 1 minute. 30 seconds. 10. Cut scene. Phone started to ring. I heard the first tone in the diner. A chime. The glare from the TV screen above the counter turned the room blue. I didn't watch. I stared at my reflection in the window. Broken lines. Smeared glass. A second phone. Then a third. The owner of the diner pulled the plug. The screen went black. Outside, tires squealed. A black SUV backed into the adjacent space. 2 men inside. Engine idling. I swallowed. Marisol noticed. Time to go, she said. We slid out the door fast, keys already in hand. I glanced back. The SUV's window cracked as someone stepped out. Tall. Hard to see, but not running. He just stood, watching. Wind chopped across the parking lot. Horn blared in the distance. I felt it then. That signature prick of danger behind the skin. As if someone had placed a vice on my ribs. Cut. Inside my own apartment. Lights low. Safe cracked open. I placed the deeds, the audio drive, the printed evidence inside. Locked it. Threw away the key. It felt like sealing a grave. Phone vibrated again. Unknown number. No caller ID. I answered. A man's voice. Smooth. Calm. Everything unnatural. You made it personal, he said. Real personal. Silence. Rain drummed on the window overhead. You think you can expose us and walk away? Nice little press, nice little story. But nice girls like you don't end up winners. I pressed a button. Clicked record. Maybe, I said. But I never believed nice. I believed truth. The line went dead. Lights across the city blinked. Windows darked. Tires on wet asphalt. Shadows slid between piles of open crates outside, like ghosts looking for blood. I sat back. Blink. Rain pattered again. I closed my eyes for a second, then opened. Here's the plan now. Freeze the transfer. Public spotlight. Expose the past clients. Notify authorities. And prepare for the fallout. They thought they could steal everything. Land, trust, life. With a signature they forged in the dark. But the floodlight's on now. And the gates are open. You tried to steal my home. Now I'm selling yours. In front of the whole damn world. The courthouse smelled like old carpet and fear. Not mine, theirs. I walked through the metal detector with a folder under my arm. The same metal box contents, now properly sealed, catalogued, time-stamped, authenticated. Every step echoed like a warning shot. Marisol waited inside the hallway, leaning against the wall in a dark blazer she borrowed from her older sister. Breathe, she whispered. I am breathing. Not like a human. I forced a breath. It tasted like dust and adrenaline. Cut scene. Courtroom doors swinging open. Dawson and Odessa sitting on the left. Their attorney whispering rapidly. Their eyes sharp enough to slice through drywall. But they didn't scare me anymore. The judge took the bench. Papers shuffled. Microphones crackled. The bailiff spoke monotone. Then the questioning began. First, the forged deed. Then the metadata. Then the burner phone. Then the recorded call that still made my blood go cold, Odessa saying accidents happen. Each piece slid into place like a blade in a locking mechanism. At one point, the judge paused. "Ms. Finch, is your grandfather available to testify?" The courtroom went still. Solomon appeared on a video monitor, propped up in his hospital room, oxygen tubes winding across his face like fragile vines. His voice was shaky, but his words were knives. "My son and daughter-in-law told me I was a burden," he said. "They took my medicine. They took my phone. They told me I was finished." He swallowed, closed his eyes. "But Elara found me, and that's the only reason I'm alive." Odessa broke. Silent tears first, then loud ones. Hiccuping sobs that didn't look like guilt, just exposure. Dawson stayed stone still. Cut scene. Judge reviewing documents. Clicking her pen. Every tap was a countdown. Finally she said it. "The transfer of property is hereby voided. All assets frozen. Mandatory investigation for financial elder abuse. This court is issuing a restraining order against both Dawson and Odessa Finch effective immediately." Odessa screamed. "She's manipulating you. She's always been." The judge slammed her gavel. "Enough." 2 marshals escorted her out. Dawson followed, jaw clenched, eyes never leaving mine. There was no love left in that gaze. Only blame. Only the kind of disappointment abusers feel when their victim stops cooperating. Cut scene. Outside the courthouse. Winter sun cutting across the sidewalk. Phones buzzing with news alerts. Marisol walked beside me. "You did it." "No," I said quietly. "I survived it." She smiled, but her eyes softened. "There's a difference." "Yeah. Surviving is choosing not to stay buried." Cut. The house. Not theirs anymore. Not even mine. Technically, not after this morning. The sale had gone through an hour earlier. Clean. Legal. Final. Market price. Paid in full by a couple who wanted a quiet, suburban fixer-upper for their retirement years. Fair trade for a lifetime of stolen safety. Strangers walked through the open house now, guided by a realtor who had no idea what these walls had seen. They pointed at crown molding, admired the backyard oak, laughed softly as if the house had never held a single secret. Solomon stood beside me, bundled in his coat, breathing easier than he had in months. "You okay, Grandpa?" I asked. He took my hand, skin thin, grip steady. "You saved us," he murmured. "Some people spend their lives trying to become what their family wants, but you became what they needed." I shook my head. "I just told the truth." He squeezed my fingers. "Truth is a blade, sweetheart. Cuts cleaner than any lie." A courier approached the walkway, holding a thick sealed envelope. "For Mr. and Mrs. Finch," he said. "They're not here," I answered. "But I'll take it." I opened it. Final notice. Completion of sale. Ownership transferred. Vacate immediately. I folded the paper back into the envelope, handed it to the marshal who had escorted my parents out earlier. He nodded. "I'll deliver it." And just like that, the last thread snapped. The wind shifted across the lawn. I felt the weight of generations lift, peel away, scatter. Maybe forgiveness comes eventually. Maybe it doesn't. But peace. Peace is something you earn by refusing to repeat the harm done to you. Someone once told me, we become adults the moment we decide what pain ends with us. I never understood it until today. Solomon leaned on my shoulder. "Where to now?" "Anywhere," I said, "as long as we don't bring them with us." He laughed. Soft. Real. "Then lead the way." We turned to leave as the for sale sign flipped to sold, clacking in the wind like a final verdict. My parents left my grandfather to die on a highway. I left them on the sidewalk with nothing but lies.